Kifo Kisimani. The sun rose over Butangi, a land once rich with hope, but now suffocating under the weight of oppression. The well, once a symbol of life, had become a battlefield. It was no longer a place where villagers fetched water freely. It was now guarded, rationed, and politicized. The people of Butangi were thirsty, not just for water, but for freedom. At the heart of the story was Mwelusi, a young man with fire in his soul and truth on his tongue. He had watched his people suffer under the rule of Bokono, a tyrant or dictator who ruled with fear and manipulation. Bokono's regime was propped up by the corrupt officials like Batu, who twisted laws to serve the powerful, and Gege, whose betrayal would later stain the well with blood. Mwelusi's mother, Tanya, had raised him to believe in justice. His brother was different, cautious, pragmatic, and ultimately torn between loyalty and survival. Their home was filled with tension. Tanya saw the storm coming. She knew that Mwelusi's defiance would either save Butangi or destroy it. The conflict began with a decree. Villagers could only fetch water from the well 3 days a week. The rest of the time, the well was reserved for the elite. The people protested. Mwelusi spoke out. He organized meetings, wrote pamphlets, and rallied the youth. His voice echoed through the hills. Maji ni haki. Water is a right. Bokono responded with silence, then with soldiers. Mwelusi was arrested. In prison, he met others who had dared to speak, teachers, farmers, and even former officials. They shared stories, dreams, and strategies. Mwelusi refused to be broken. His spirit grew stronger. Outside, Tanya and Atega, a loyal friend, plotted his escape. They smuggled in food laced with a nail file. Mwelusi used it to break free. The escape was daring, dangerous, and successful, but freedom was fleeting. Bokono was furious. He summoned Batu and Gege. "Find him," he said. "End this rebellion." Gege, once a friend of Mwelusi, offered to help. He claimed he could convince Mwelusi to surrender. Tanya warned her son, but Mwelusi believed in reconciliation. He met Gege at the well, his birthplace, his battlefield. Gege smiled, then stabbed him. Mwelusi collapsed, his blood mixing with the water. The well, once a source of life, had become a grave. News spread quickly. The people of Butangi were stunned, but grief turned to rage. They marched to the palace, chanting Mwelusi's name. Bokono's guards tried to stop them, but the tide was too strong. The people had awakened. Inside the palace, Bokono watched from his throne. He saw the crowd, he saw the fury, and for the first time, he felt fear. Tanya stood at the front. Her voice rang out, "You killed my son, but you cannot kill his dream." The people stormed the gates. Bukono fled. Batu was captured, and Gege was dragged to the well and forced to face the consequences of his betrayal. Butangi changed. That day, the well was reopened. Water flowed freely. A new government was formed. One built on justice, transparency, and memory. When Lucy was buried near the well, his grave became a shrine. Children were taught his story. Songs were written in his honor. And every time someone fetched water, they remembered the man who had died so they could live. Kifo Kisimani.